Hello and welcome to the Frontington and Backwoods Railway. In this video I'm going to be wiring up the track for Tutherside, including adding these Gaugemaster Autofrogs to the points. In my previous video I showed you how I created a power distribution solution using these terminal blocks, and at the end of that video I showed one of my engines running on some track. Well, in this video I'm continuing to focus on the points by electrocuting some frogs. So, without further ado, with further ado, because there are a few things I need to do first. And first among those first things is to paint the tops of the baseboards. This is just kids' ready-mixed paint, nothing special. There's quite a lot of board to paint, but as the saying goes, many hands make light work. Now for some more further ado. When I made my power distribution blocks in the last video, I used a piece of wire soldered across the pins. In subsequent builds, I've actually used this self-adhesive copper tape, with the pins poked through and soldered, and it works a treat. One commenter commented in the comments about voltage loss, which is an excellent point. My napkin-based calculations show that the impact across a length like this is probably negligible, but it's a good point and certainly something to bear in mind. If you think I'm headed for disaster, by all means comment in the comments with a further comment. Right, one more further ado and that's it, I promise. With the boards painted, I have more track to lay. I started by cutting away one of the sleepers from underneath, and then rubbed the exposed track with a glass fibre pen to prep it for soldering. And then I can cut some dropper wires, which are the usual 7 0.2 variety. That means 7 strands of 0.2mm wire bundled together. I tinned the ends of the wire and put a nice blob of solder on each rail too, and then it's just a case of soldering the wires to the rails. I like positioning the wires pointing inwards so that they can both go through a single hole in the board. And twizzling the wires together with a drill keeps them nice and tidy. Curved sections of track are a little more complicated, simply because the curve means the rails work out to slightly different lengths. In this case, I had to chop off around 3mm from the end of one rail to make them match up neatly. Otherwise, it's all the same process as before. As the saying goes, there's nothing new under the sun. Right, any more ado? No? Then with genuinely no further ado whatsoever, let's get these frogs powered. Out of the box, these Peco points actually work just fine without the frogs powered. Apart from this one. Not quite sure what's going on there. The rails are internally wired so that the point blade sends power to the frog, but that depends on the sides of the rails being reliably clean and making good contact, which isn't always the case. So for better reliability, I like using these Gaugemaster Autofrogs, which automatically change the polarity of the central frog rails depending on what the locomotive requires. As the saying goes, when in Rome, use the polarity the Romans use. The Autofrog has 3 lily pads. Solder pads. The 2 outer ones are inputs, And the inner one is the output. Got that? In, out, out. And I guess you can shake it all about if you really want to. The inputs can come from the rails or the DCC bus. You could think of it as positive and negative, though in DCC land it's effectively alternating current, so it doesn't really matter which is which, as long as they match up consistently. Since I'm using the Autofrog to auto the frog, I need to make some modifications to the point itself. Now, underneath you can see these connections running between the various rails. We want to disconnect the frog from the point blades, which you can do by snipping those wires off. Now, without the Autofrog, the rails in the middle of the point are now completely isolated, regardless of which way the point blades are set. With the Autofrog, the polarity of those middle rails will be whatever it needs to be. The final modification is to make sure the blades are permanently connected to the power, rather than relying on touching the rail. I like to do that by soldering the dropper wire to both the rail and the blade, like this. Then it's just a case of reinstalling the point, powering it all on, and checking it works. Carried on with the other points and sections of track and got into a nice flow. I actually quite like soldering, as it turns out. Incidentally, I learnt to solder from a chap called Richard Holder, who's made a lot of 009 layouts. I'll link to his YouTube channel in the notes. before I knew it, all the track was laid, soldered and wired into the bus. I can now run trains around my new Tutherside station. Of course, there's still lots to do. I still need to connect Tutherside to the main Frontington layout. The points need motors, and there's all the scenery to do. But it's another step in the right direction. Thanks for watching this little update. I'd be really grateful if you could like and subscribe if you haven't already. But that's all for this video. Bye for now.